There's a recurring theme in many stories of dreams. Sleep paralysis, drug-induced hallucinations, and even regular sightings of the shadow people. These are my encounters with them. In 2019, after a long night of clubbing, drinking, and engaging in illicit substances, I got back to my dorm at university. I remember feeling a bit strange because one of the substances had never made me hallucinate before. And yet I was having strange visuals. Maybe it was something else. Who knows? As I entered my room and shut the door, I was confronted by 8 shadowy figures. Black silhouettes, each with their own distinct features. One was long and thin, maybe 9 feet tall. Another was shorter and more built. Some appeared to wear clothes made of a black fog, while others appeared completely nude. I wasn't scared. Maybe it was drug-induced confidence, but I sat on my bed staring at them in fascination. They seemed confident and solid, not vicious or angry or hostile. They were just standing there, menacingly, but somehow neutral. I decided to speak to them. I said hello, asked why they were here. They simply stared at me. The staring became a common theme with the shadow people. I think it has something to do with what they are, how they came to be. They can't talk, but they stare. And their staring means something. Another time, I woke up in bed, definitely under the influence of something. I looked around my room, but it wasn't my room anymore. I had been transported into a massive theater, an opera hall or something. It was very dark and dimly lit, with rows and rows of seats around me. I looked to my left and I saw a dusty black fog, shaped like a person. Again, I tried to speak to it, and this time, it turned its head to look at me with a stare. With the same questioning, neutral gaze. There were others next to it that did the same. I know what you're thinking. This is just the hallucinations of a drug addict. But there has to be something to it. Why does every culture have these shadow people? Why do they all act the same? A whistleblower's journal. June 14th, 2023. They told me I was helping. That's how it always starts, isn't it? My name doesn't matter anymore. By the time this reaches you, if it reaches you, I'll be gone. But I saw it. The whole fucking thing. And I need someone to know. Day 1, the offer. They pulled me into a nondescript building near Westminster. No logos, no signs, just a blank door and a retinal scanner. You have the right background, the man in the gray suit said. Signal intelligence, cryptographic subversions, pandemic modeling. I thought it was another GCHQ contract, maybe MI6. I was wrong. The folder slid across the table. Project Aurelian Mesh. Total surveillance. Gray suit said. Not just metadata. Full decryption, every call, every message, even end to end. I laughed. That's impossible. He didn't laugh back. Day 47. The first lie. They fed us the line, public health monitoring, track vaccine efficiency, study transmission. Bullshit. I found the subroutines buried in the 5G firmware. Project Whisper. No encryption handshake, just raw data funneled straight to a server farm outside of Cheltenham. I confronted my supervisor. They're listening to everything, I said. She didn't deny it. Necessary measures, she murmured. Post-pandemic security. And she handed me a new assignment. Day 112. Project Vulcan Reach. This is where I stopped being complicit. This is where I started running. They weren't just tracking COVID. They were spreading it. Controlled releases. Different variants. Different demographics. Population stress testing. The reports called it. I stole the files. Every fucking one. Vaccine efficiency charts, doctored. 5G towers, repurposed. People, just data points. Last entry. They know I took it. They're coming. If you're reading this, burn your phone. Use cache. Don't trust the vaccines. Don't trust the networks. And whatever you do, don't let them hear you. I've been thinking about this for years. Me and my family never came up with an explanation for it, or how it could possibly be debunked. From what I can remember, around 8 at the time this happened. So it could have been a part of my imagination. But I highly doubt that. The story starts when me and my family had planned to stay at my grandparents' over Christmas. We've done this for many years before. My grandparents live in a very isolated area. They're mostly surrounded by empty fields of land my grandfather owns or other farmers near the area owns. Because of this, there weren't any parks or other kids me and my siblings could play with, and we didn't have much to entertain ourselves other than play hide and seek in the extremely overgrown grass or sit on my grandfather's tractor. One evening after we had finished dinner, we asked our grandma if we could go outside. Which she said was fine, but we must not go too deep in the fields. And if we did, to just wait until she found us. So like usual, me and my siblings were played in hide and seek before I could realize I could no longer hear their footsteps. And I had gone too deep. I no longer knew where I was, but I could merely make out I was around 2 entire fields away from my siblings, and that my grandparents' house was on the far left. But I still stayed in place because I was accidentally scared of going deeper into the fields and getting in bigger trouble. Eventually, I heard another pair of footsteps. They were fast, coming from my right. Before I heard what sounded like my older sister call out my name. It sounded close, but even through the thin grass, I couldn't see her. Obviously, being a child, I followed my sister's voice despite it being on the opposite direction of my grandparents' house. I followed the voice for what I can remember being close to 20 minutes. Each time her voice felt further and further away. Suddenly, while I was walking, I recognized a certain tree in the distance. It was then I knew I was on another farmer's plot of land that I was forbidden to go into. Whatever I was following was not my sister. My sister was a stern follower of my grandparents' rules and would never dare to go out of my grandfather's land onto another farmer's. Never in my life have I felt such a horrible feeling in my stomach. I bolted back into the direction I came. I could still hear the rustling behind me. It was terrifying. I could hear that thing call out my name, but it sounded more and more sinister, like grunts and gurgled in between every breath. A nearby elderly couple found me after I was curled up on the floor hiding beneath the grass. They took me inside and had called my parents to tell them they had found me. It turns out all my other siblings, including my older sister, had gone back inside, apart from my little brother after the first 10 minutes of being outside. And they had assumed I was still playing. What felt like 30 minutes was actually 3 entire hours. I had walked 8.5 miles. My parents were close to filing a report before I was found. Since that day, I never went back into the fields. And still, when I visit, I keep far away from them.